In this podcast episode, we're going to be talking about Trademarkia. If you've never heard of Trademarkia, well, it's a trademark registration service that's available to you online. It is one of these platforms that you can go to register to protect your name, logo, or slogan. And it likes to say that it is the world's largest and best trademark service. I have had clients use Trademarkia, and they have told me that they have found it to be easy to use and it got done exactly what they needed to get done. Now, I know a lot of times people are wondering about some of these online platforms. Is it any good? Is it a scam? Is it going to overcharge me? Is it going to do the work? What if I have problems, Sheila? Am I going to be able to get up with someone on a phone, or is it really just going to be me and this chat bot and we're going to go back and forth? Well, with Trademarkia, if you head to the website, you will see that Trademarkia is actually out of Arizona. So for those of you who are trying to find something to use that you feel relatively confident about using, that may help you with that. So they are out of the United States. And if you go to their website, you can actually bring up a little bit more information about them. So under the About section is where you will find some of this information. And it actually tells you where the headquarters is. You've got the street address, zip code, telephone number, fax number, and email. I say that this is important because so many times now we go to these sites and all you get is an email address and no real contact information. Trademarkia has been around since 2009, and they don't just have a website, but you can also check them out on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So they have been around for a very long time, and they're actually sort of a subsidiary or a subset, or however you want to frame it, of a law firm. And the law firm is actually the owner of Trademarkia.com. And at this time, they said that they've actually, put together a database of more than 8 million trademarks and logos with their free search tool. So one of the first things that we want to do now is talk about this process now that you feel a little bit better about who they are. So when you actually head over to their website, it's going to have a little button there for you to type in the trademark that you want to search. That is one of the first things that I tell people. Even though I don't really register trademarks for people, I can give them background information on some of the things that you need to do before you ever even decide that, hey, this is the trademark I want to register. And the very first thing is making sure that nobody else is using it. So they have this search tool. You can also go to the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office's website and search there also. Now, the thing about that is people go to that website and they go, oh no, this is way too confusing. I don't understand this, because there's a lot of legalese there. And sometimes it can be very difficult to follow that. But on Trademarkia's site, it is very clean. It's very modern looking. It does not look like one of those government websites that we're used to seeing. Like I said, the first thing you want to do is register your trademark by looking it up and making sure nobody else is using it. Here's the other thing you also want to do. You want to just sort of Google it. Okay, Google it, see what's out there that might be similar to yours. See if somebody else is using it. You want to have an idea of similar names and similar phrases that might be connected to it. Because think about this, at some point in time, somebody might mistype a letter in your name and they might get something that comes up that you really don't want to be associated with. So do a little background research, share the name with, family and friends, people that you trust, and then come onto a site like this, put the name in here and do an actual search. When you go to the website, you're actually going to see that there is this 3-step process. Like I said, number 1 is just making sure that you can use it. If somebody else is using it, forget it. Number 2, they're going to go through and ask you a few questions. And that's when they're going to narrow down what it is your trademark is going to be applied to. Now, for those of you who don't know, registering a trademark can be very expensive. People tend to think, oh, yes, I know, the lawyer fees. That is not even what I'm talking about. For each class of goods, there is a fee. So for instance, if you want to apply your trademark on shirts, or apply your trademark to courses, or apply your trademark to books or glasses and mugs, each one of those items might be in a different class of goods. Therefore, every time you want to have your trademark on one of these different classes of goods, it's going to cost you an additional amount. I tell clients, pick and choose what is important to you up front. Like, have a strategy, because otherwise you're going to be paying out the mouth and arm and everything else. Decide what it is you want. And these are some of the questions that you're going to get asked when it comes down to applying for your trademark and answering the questions on site. Then finally, you get to this third piece where you're actually doing the application filing. Even though you're on Trademarkia's website, and they are the ones walking you through this, the application actually gets filed with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. Those fees for all those classes, that actually goes to them. So when you go to Trademarkia's website and it says, hey, all your trademark needs at a great price, and it says approximately $300 per country billed separately, and you can pick this plan. Well, let's talk a little bit about what that means. That means that you are paying Trademarkia's fee. There is an additional government fee that is on top of that. So you will have to keep that in mind also when it comes time to you figuring out what your budget is going to be for this. One of the requirements for filing your trademark is that you actually have to use it. You have to already have it out there in the world, in commerce, using it. And you will actually have to give examples of how that's being done. If your trademark is not currently in use, then you're not going to meet the criteria for that. As it says on their website, you need to show the USPTO, which is the Patent and Trademark Office, you are using your mark. This is called filing a statement of use. That is where you give your examples to say, hey, this is how I'm actually using my mark. So for instance, if you go to Trademarkia's website, you'll see they actually have some information up here about trademark statement of use. And you can see that they provide examples so that you know whether or not, hey, I check the box on that or I don't. There is actually a lot of assistance that they provide you with. Now, what happens if you don't have that met? Well, you can actually file a request for an extension of time. Now, you know, with everything, there's an additional fee, right? This gets you an additional 6 months. By then, though, you actually have to have been using this trademark out in the real world, out in commerce. And you have to be able to have some examples that prove that you've been doing this. So that's pretty much it. Trademarkia, I think they do a really good job of telling you what their services are. They do a really good job of providing assistance to you. They're kind of upfront about some of the fees that they charge. For instance, you know, when you get to file the trademark statement of use, it actually says it's you can have that done by an experienced attorney for $379 plus government fees. So, you know, there's sort of the a la carte version, and then there is the version where, you know, you pay for everything and they handle everything for you. So it's sort of one of those things where you have to make a decision about what you're going to need them to do. Otherwise, According to their website, trademark registration starts at $3.99. That starts at $3.99. And then there's the government fee that is on top of that. One of the reasons people will typically use an online service or want to use an online service like this is because, hey, Sheila, I may be working in the business during the day, and in the evening and on the weekend, I need to work on the business, and I need to do things like file a trademark. I can't exactly have a conversation with an attorney at 9 o'clock at night or at Sunday at 3 p.m. So something like this, people want to know if it's a good alternative. Well, I have found that this particular one is, in my opinion, something for you to consider if you're looking at filing a trademark. Like I said, it's very straightforward. You have all of the information there on the website that you need. It's respected on top of that. And as an attorney, I frequently refer clients to Trademarkia or to another local attorney that I know that people can use also. So that's pretty much it. I hope you got some information from this that will be relevant for you. And don't forget to subscribe. Mwah. Peace.